Sports Report live update. I'm Chris Puckett, and joining me right now via Skype, we have Revan, the captain of Curse New York. Revan, how you feeling today, man?
I'm feeling good, and thanks for having me on the show, Puckett. It's always a pleasure, but after this, we got some practice scheduled with the team, so just jumping on to do this quick interview first, and then Curse New York will be starting to practice for the day.
I like it, and guys, I apologize. In the first half of the show, I was saying that Curse New York is playing tonight. It's actually Curse Las Vegas is trying to stay on top of their 90+% win percentage. You guys had a rough night last night, losing to Optic Gaming to close out the evening. Revan, I know you were very frustrated after that match. What happened in the matchup against Optic?
Well, we kind of choked on the first map. It's our host, especially on Mochilla's host. So the reason we put Mochilla on host is because he lives far away from everyone else. So he kind of has the upper hand. And, that's just the perks of online Call of Duty. So losing a map on host, there's really no excuse for that. But we lost by like 11 on the first side. And then at one point in the second half, we were up by like 30, maybe 40 points. And then we saw that lead go away as soon as we got it. So it's really a choke on our part. Something that's going to happen. And then Search and Destroy, we lost that pretty handily. And then the Blitz, we were all just kind of frustrated about the first two maps. So the Blitz wasn't too close either. But still, we saw that there's stuff in our gameplay that needs to be worked on. And that's all that really matters about that loss, is that we recognize what we did wrong and we're ready to fix it.
That's what I like to hear. And you guys are now sitting at about a 45% win percentage so far. Your opponents, you still have 3 matches left to play. Of course, you've played 11 so far. The 3 teams left to battle are Envious, Curse Las Vegas, and Team Caliber. You have the top 2 teams in Curse Las Vegas and Envy, and then Caliber. How confident are you that you can finish with a positive record and possibly get into that top 4?
I think we have to win all 3 of those matches to secure our spot, if not 2 out of the 3. Curse Las Vegas is really the only team that we haven't beaten online yet. So that's the matchup I'm looking forward to the most. But going up against TK and going up against Envy, well, we beat Envy when I wasn't even playing. They played with Methods as a fill-in, and they were able to beat them 3-1, I believe. So I'm not too worried about that matchup. TK, last time we played them in the Winter Invitational, they beat us. So we definitely want to get revenge on them for that. They play really aggressively, and Goonjar, I feel like not enough people give him credit. So not many people may know about Goon, but back in MW3, he was mainly an SMG player. Then in Black Ops 2, he made a really smart decision to switch to an AR and become an anchor, because all the top teams, well, they were looking for that one solid anchor player. Nobody really wanted to play that role. It's pretty boring. So Goon made a really smart decision. That just added a whole lot to his player resume. So he's a really aggressive sub, but he could also be an assault rifle. So he's a deadly player, and that's really the one guy we're looking to shut down when we go up against Team Caliber. If we're able to shut down Goonjar, I think we'll be able to have a better shot at winning that match. And then Curse Las Vegas, I was listening to Clay talk a bit about it, and it's pretty difficult to play on their host, but there's no reason why, when we go into the game, we don't really worry about the connection too much. We just say if we play our game and if we stay one step ahead of the other team, then there's no reason why we should lose.
I like it. Well, you guys are going to be facing off against Las Vegas. Of course, I believe it's Monday that matchup is going down. And last time you met up was actually in last weekend's 2K, as it was a Curse v. Curse battle. It went all the way to game number 5. What went wrong last weekend, and what do you guys have to change this time around when you meet up with them on Monday?
So where we went wrong in that series against Vegas was in map 4. It was Octane Domination. We had a pretty sizable lead going to the second half, and as in usual fashion, we beat ourselves. We let the lead go away, and then we were just kind of still arguing about the last map going into the final Search and Destroy, where we just got ripped apart. But once again, it was just a loss where, okay, we have a lead. We just need to focus on map control. Maybe we don't need to play too aggressively. And there's one thing that we took away from Curse Las Vegas' gameplay. We've been watching them play a lot because they're the only team we have yet to beat. So we watched them, and we noticed that in Domination, whenever they're ahead, they like to play the flag trading game, and they'll just kind of play ring around the rosy around the map with us. Okay. So that's just something maybe we have to incorporate in our gameplay more. And also, if we're trying to get a lead on them, now we know what they're going to do, and we have a good strategy to counter it.
All right, well, we've seen a lot of gameplay from the Winter Invitational, but COD Champs is now getting closer and closer. Tomorrow is the first qualifier. Are any of the teams saving something for COD Champs, or are you guys really putting it all out on the line in this Winter Invitational?
We have some really close strategies saved up for you guys, and we've been kind of using the Winter Invitational as practice and just kind of get a feel for some of the strategies, as well as we practice a lot with some of the other teams off stream. We practice a lot of our search strategies, and we definitely have, I'd say maybe 90% of our strategies we've shown off stream, and we're feeling really confident that they're going to work in actual tournament gameplay. So during the COD Champs qualifiers and even during regionals, if we make it there, you guys are going to see some cool things from us in Search and Destroy.
I love it. Well, last year around COD Champs time, you were in the casting booth with me. We were doing the daily programming here on MLG.TV. Now you've transitioned back into the player role. You weren't able to attend COD Champs due to school last year. If you make it there, will this be the most amount of money you've ever played for?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, $400,000 for first place, $1 million prize pool. The most amount of money I've ever played for was probably at an MLG event for a $50,000 prize pool. So what was that, like 20 times more? It's going to be a fun experience.
Well, before we can get to the World Championships, of course, we have the 2 steps in the U.S. Regional Qualifier. We have the preliminary online qualifiers that kick off tomorrow, and then, of course, the U.S. Regionals that will go down March 8th and 9th at Full Sail University. Before you get to Full Sail, you got to finish top 8 in the online qualifier. Who are some of the maybe underrated teams out there that could cause some upsets tomorrow?
You have to look out for Nihil's team. I think they're called VWS. They have really, really good internet. So they could pull some crazy stuff out. We were scrimming against them. We beat them a couple of matches, but they're one team to look out for. And as always, it's always nice to know wherever the host is playing from. You know, if you're going to be playing on a Cali host and you live on the East Coast, you're probably not going to have a fun time. But VWS is probably the one team, at least in the early stages of the round, because as you progress through the tournament, you're going to be getting closer and closer to playing better seeded teams. But at least maybe from rounds 3 to 5, you might run into VWS. Definitely look out for them.
Now, Nihil is the World Star Screecher, correct?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, same guy. Look out for his gun skill. He's a phenomenal Screecher and player. All right, well, let's come down to the final questions here, Revan. Of course, you are a moderator on our COD Competitive, and you've been part of this Reddit since its very first introduction mid last year. I remember you were always checking it. They set a record for the month of January, higher views than they've ever had in the history of COD Competitive on the Reddit thread. Talk to me a little bit about this and who's behind the scenes over there.
All right, so before we get into the stats, I want to give a shout out to Matt and Jamie. There are 2 main coders for COD Competitive. They put in all the work, and pretty much what I do for a moderator for them is I just delete all the useless threads, all the useless comments, so that they could focus on improving the layout, improving all the API on the competitive layout, as well as HubWeb. She does a lot of good work for us as well. But now let's move into the stats a little bit. So you brought up a good point. We had a crap ton of views in the month of January, but let's just put that in perspective real quick. So in June, we had 37,000 page views. In January, we had over 4 million. And
37 to 4 million.
And we also had 4.7 thousand unique visitors. In January, we have over 200,000 unique visitors. So just tremendous growth. And that just shows that because we're getting a lot of traffic, there's more content being produced about competitive Call of Duty, more people getting their eyes, and more viewers increased, as you may have seen on the stream.
You know, it's just a great time to be a part of the Call of Duty community. Tuesday, we got a brand new patch to the broadcaster mode. We showed off Oracle for the first time on the MLG stream last night. So it's been better than ever for the viewers' perspective. We have another $1 million tournament coming up here at the end of March, thrown by Activision and Xbox, of course. And for the players, you guys are all now streaming, making revenue there on top of all the prize money. Revan, you've been in this COD scene forever. How far has it grown since you first started?
Well, if you look all the way back towards Call of Duty 4, because I didn't compete in Call of Duty 2, we were playing for like $5,000 online. There was only one LAN event, and that was MLG Nationals. It was Pro Circuit ladders, MLG ladders, and Game Battles was very active back then. And now a lot of, pro players still playing Game Battles, but we've moved on to Twitter, we've moved on to Reddit, and the community has grown exponentially, not only in prize pool and the amount of people going to the events, but the amount of people watching. People weren't even streaming back in Call of Duty before. That was really unheard of. You had your Dazzle that you were recording for proof. Now just about every pro player is streaming online, whether it's on mainly MLG.TV right now. That's the best platform to stream on.
I love it. Well, Revan, I know you guys are going to be streaming some this weekend. Where can we watch you next?
On the MLG.TV, if you look in the right-hand side, we're going to be on the Curse New York channel. I think I'm going to be streaming on it today because Burns streamed last night. Or either way, it's mainly going to be myself or Burns streaming on that channel, just taking turns, just trying to put up as much content for you guys. The new schedule we have coming out, actually, we're going to be trying to get at least 6 hours a day on the MLG.TV channel, so lots of content for you guys.
Well, my final question here, did you ever think that your pickup squad, the E-Girls Slayers, would one day be under a great organization like Curse and playing amongst the best teams in the world?
Oh, definitely not. Going into that UMG Philly event, we were just going in there, hoping to place top 16. We'd come out with a 5th place finish. Then a few days later, we move on to Curse. And now we couldn't be more happier. We're a contracted team, so you don't have to worry about us breaking up, anybody leaving. We're in this for the long haul. And I just got to give a big shout out to Curse, the organization, as well as our sponsors, Elgato and Scuff, as well as Blevins. He's behind the scene making all of this happen.
All right, well, big shout-outs to everyone involved. Love to see the growth and especially to see you transitioning from a caster back to the player role and having great success. Really proud of you, buddy. Well, Revan, I know you're going to be streaming tonight. Make sure you check him out on MLG.TV/CurseNY. You can watch him practice as well. They have the qualifier on Saturday, and on Sunday, they had a finals placing in the first 2K last weekend. They will try and repeat that this weekend, and there's plenty to watch here, guys, coming up on the weekend. Tonight, of course, we continue with the Winter Invitational. 4 matches going down. We have Curse Las Vegas, FaZe, Caliber all playing this evening, and you're also going to see the Caliber Envy match at 9 p.m., possibly the most important match of the night, as well as at 6 o'clock as Envy, FaZe, and Caliber are all just a few games away from securing a spot in that top 4 or falling out of the top 4. Then we have the ACL Pro also kicking off with the New Zealand prelim online qualifier. Bioacid, who I cast with last night, will be hosting that show. Guaranteed to be phenomenal entertainment there as we get a look at the best teams in New Zealand as they fight for a spot at the Australian Regional Qualifier. Also coming up tomorrow, we are going to have some broadcasts from Gfinity in addition to our own U.S. Regional Preliminary Qualifier. You can catch all the action on MLG.TV. I'll be hosting our U.S. Prelim Online Qualifier kicking off at 12, and I was just told that Methods has been confirmed as my co-caster tomorrow, so that will definitely be an entertaining cast to say the least. And Australia will be back 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. That's about noon Sydney time. The Australian Preliminary Online Qualifiers will be kicking off for Saturday. Finally, you're going to see the 2K series this Sunday. Make sure you tune in for that. And we have Gfinity with the Italian and Spanish preliminary online qualifiers kicking off at 6 a.m. Eastern time here for you Americans. That's noon over there in the UK, as well as some of the other European countries. Guys, thank you for tuning in for this Esports Report update. Big shout out to, of course, Clayster and Revan for coming on the show. And, of course, hang out here right on MLG.TV for all of the epic Winter Invitational matches and the ACL Pro New Zealand Regional Qualifiers coming up immediately after the show.